Simon from howtodesignyour.com, and in this video tutorial we're going to take a look at how to design an icon set, and we're also going to do one in Photoshop and one in Illustrator. So an icon set is basically a set of icons that you can integrate into a number of different types of projects. For instance, if you're designing a header for a website and you want the navigation to have an associated icons for each link, then you'd use a uniform set of icons, which are known as icon sets. And you can also use them in other things, like using them as bolded icons for a list of features. And there really is a big market in icon sets, and there are designers who make a ton of money just by designing icon sets alone. So if you're a freelance designer, this is definitely a skill that you don't want to overlook. For instance, if we take a look at this one, this is an icon set here. Each icon is just basically just scaled down, and there is a lot of detail in each one. And it's something that would take a while to do. Not every icon set though has to be this elaborate, but you can see there's this many, and it resells at $129. So these people are making thousands just off of this icon set alone. So anyhow, we're going to start here in Photoshop, and we're going to file new. We're just going to set the width and height at 400 by 300 pixels. Alright, so there are two different types of icon sets. You can either have one that are just plain icons in and of themselves, just like the one we saw, or we can actually have one where each icon is it actually has a button on it, like for the background. So we're going to start with that type first. So what we're going to do is just choose the ellipse tool, and with black as our foreground, hold shift, just drag out, just go to move tool, get in the center there. Alright, now let's double click this, and just so we can see it a little bit, let's go to gradient overlay, and let's change this to, let's put a negative there, as you can see down there, and then let's click on gradient, and let's change, just double click on this one, the white one, and change it to a slightly lighter version of black there. So let's hit OK, and hit OK. So it just has a very light gradient on there. And let's right click this and go to rasterize layer, and then let's take the magic wand tool, select it, and now let's go to file, new layer, or not file, but the thing over here, and then let's take the circular marquee tool. Now this might take a few times. Hold Alt down, that subtracts from the selection, and okay, it looks like that worked out pretty well. You want it centered basically, so right around there, and then take the gradient tool, and if by default it's usually set on this, just drag out, choose gradient, and let's choose medium gray for the foreground, hit OK. Now hold shift and just drag down. Now let's deselect that, and let's change the opacity here, and let's go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and then we just kind of give it a slight blur over there. Alright, now we could actually just use this as the button and then start designing each icon in the middle, but you know, we obviously can do more to this, but just for now we're just gonna, since we're doing two of them, let's just keep it like this. So now this is the part where you would take both of these layers, hold CTRL down, select them both, go to new group from layers, hit OK, and then we would, let's zoom up here, choose white as a foreground, and this is where we would start. So basically, let's say we wanted to make an icon for like writing something, Here, let's just draw a pen right here, which could have a number of uses. And this, obviously, I'm starting with my pen tool. And if you aren't familiar with the pen tool, take a look at my other tutorials because it shows you how to use the pen tool. So right now we're just kind of designing a pen here. It's kind of like a ballpoint here. Whenever I mess up, I just hit Ctrl-Z real quick and that undoes it. Alright, and then let's create another thing here. We could have like the actual clip. Alright, click the zoom tool, right click and go to actual pixels. Take these and center it better. And now we can scale this. Hold Ctrl-T with this group 1 selected, the folder. Hold Shift, scale it down. Select the move tool, hit apply. Then we could right click over here, hit duplicate group, hit OK. And then we can just come in, take these 2 layers here, hit the delete key, and that gets rid of them. And then you can start designing your next icon there. So we could even take this and do more with it. For instance, let's take these 2 here, just drop it to this group 1, and let's move here, right there. We're going to give it like a little reflective shadow thing, or just basically a reflection. So we can take these. Let's first go down here. Let's take off the effects, that gradient. Then let's go to merge layers. We're going to merge them together. Then take the brush tool and hold Shift. And that gives us a reflection there, which looks pretty cool. So then, like I said, you just right click, duplicate group, hit OK, come by and remove those, and then get started with your next icon. And then just to see what this looks like with what it would look like with text on it. Now, normally when you're designing an icon set, you won't put any text on it, but I'm just doing it for the sake of, say for example, it's like right post. There you go. It looks pretty good. Alright, so that's how you design an icon in Photoshop. Now, here's the thing. If you have Adobe Illustrator, that's where you want to design your icons. You don't want to design them in Photoshop, because if you're attempting to resell these icon sets, you have to do it in Illustrator, because people want to have full 100% vector icons. That way they can scale them up and scale them down and not have to worry about things, basically the quality. Because say for example I was trying to scale this one up. Well, this is 100% vector, so if I take this, scale it up big time, you can tell if you look at the edges, it's not good at all. Now the pen keeps itself because this is vector, that's with the pen tool, but this right here doesn't. So it is fine though if you just have Photoshop and you want to design your own icons for your website. You're not attempting to resell anything, you know exactly what size you want, that's fine. But if you want to resell them, then you have to use Illustrator, which is where I'm at now. So we're going to design one in Illustrator. So select File New, 400 by 300, hit OK. Hold Ctrl and the 1 key to get to 100% view. And we're going to change this. We're going to go File, Document Color Mode, change it to RGB. And then for this one, we can... Well, I'm trying to think here. Well, we'll do one like that doesn't actually have a button for the background. We'll do one like one of the ones we saw. Maybe not quite as elaborate though, because I just want to get through this. So, all right. First, we have to figure out and decide what type of icon we want to design. Really, there's a ton of